Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Brawl Stars Open. We've jumped across the Atlantic. I guess if you're going that way, we're in North America now. We're dropping in to the quarterfinals, so 8 teams left. We're going to be looking at Totality and then Nova on the NA side of things. We're dropping in. Totality wins map number 1 and set number 1, so not too far along in that one. I'm Dolson, bringing you the action here, joined by Pretty Hair for potentially one of our last few games of today. We saw Nova in the finals of the EU on the opposite side. Now we got to look at their NA squad.
I mean, this is a mobile organization to be feared. I don't know if they have any traditional esports teams, but at least in every Supercell game that I've ever seen competed in, Nova Esports has always been one of the clans to be feared.
And it's something as we start to follow along. Remember, the road to the World Finals is beginning now. So as you're starting to learn some of these teams moving into the finals, Nova is certainly one. Now PSG, of course, over in EU. Somebody you have to keep your eyes on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, these are all now very close matchups in an ideal world as we are in the quarters. We're going to drop in here, though. You see Totality up 1 map to 0. Starting off with a little bit of heist.
Gene and Shelly banned for this entire match, so keep that in mind as we move forward. Team Totality, he's going to be up that 1 map of heist so far. Just taking a kind of a peek at these players from Totality. I think I maybe recognize Keenan from before, but I don't remember any of these other teammates. However, Nova Esports is a team we are pretty familiar with from doing the North American Open all those weeks ago.
Of course, some Jesse Piper on the opposite side is going to be the main difference, where Brock is down on the Team Totality side. Corey looking to get aggressive, going to barrel roll in there, but on the opposite side, going to get aggressive onto Super Sai as the there for Team Totality. 7% is all Nova Esports are really able to get right now, trading out a little bit. You'll be happy with a minute and a half left to just have a lead on the safe. That's ever so important. Super Sai is going to get very staggered out here, although he's able to use the super up and over. One more shot still might do it to him. But wow, he's actually able to kite back and get the kill on the Juarez. What's going on here, Super Sai? He gets the kill.
That is snappy sniping right there.
There you go.
Having that amount of ammo is only something that can be brought to you by one of those brand new star powers from Piper. Gets clipped by the cleave and is even going to feed a couple of more into the safe. Barrage getting a couple of nice shots off here.
Yeah, and I mean, well played by Super Sai. Unfortunately, not able to stay alive into the defensive side of things. Safe's getting traded back and forth. Nova Esports is a little bit worse for wear on the end of that one. 71% health on Team Totalities. That's going to get a little bit evened up here as Super Sai and Lance are able to start poking away in the backline. Corey staying very alive, honestly, despite dying off. The fact that he was able to draw the attention of 3 of Team Totality is nothing to be scoffed at here. In this case, Nova Esports grab a little bit of a lead, doubling up the percentage left that Team Totality do have on the opposite side. With 30 seconds left, they're going to have to break out of their base.
Great shots here from Super Sai. Juarez pretty low. Clips him with another one. Everyone is just feeling the wrath right now. He is landing shot after shot after shot, really keeping this whole team at bay, largely by himself. Corey goes in, looking to end the game, and might be able to do just that.
Yeah, I think he's, well, never mind. The turret is going to be able to clean him up here in this case. If nothing else, 8 seconds left just delays the inevitable. Super Sai is going to use the super to jump in there and pop the safe one last time. Tying it up here, Nova Esports. Hats off to them, fighting back. And now we're tied up. Set number 1, lots of fun to look at. Daryl, notably, is kind of where my mind goes.
Yeah.
We kind of hot dropped into that game, and by the way, there's 2 Daryls rolling around. We've seen him a little bit throughout some of the sets today. What are your thoughts on maybe where he's at?
That's kind of like a this map sort of thing. There's another heist map called Corner Case. We used to see him on a pretty decent amount. He is pretty much just a situational heist character. When there's an opportunity, I mean, his guns are just so good for it. In addition to the fact that he's the only passively charging super in the game, so for a majority of that game, he kind of just sits behind a line of sight and diddles and dawdles around and just controls the map via his presence. And then when it's time to go, it's time to go.
And it was time to go. Opting actually for the same exact lineups here are both teams. Nova won the last one somewhat convincingly after some early poke from Team Totality, tried to even things up. Corey with some happy feet, just trying to dodge this out. The war of attrition begins here in the center lines. If any of those Jesse's shots start to connect, you're going to get some good ricochet damage. Although not if you're spreading out as much as Corey is here. Super Sai staying nice and far back there. Some good plug damage onto Juarez. Can't move, just trying to bait out 1 or 2 more Piper shots. Super Sai has the angle here. If he chooses, he could get aggressive. 1 more shot onto the Daryl on the opposite side will do it. Instead, the super comes out. little bit of DR for the Daryl, not enough to stop Super Sai from cleaning him up. Lance backs off as well, trying to trade out with the Jesse on the opposite side, not able to do so. It's a 1-for-1, but Team Totality's safe is the one that ends up getting damaged.
Super Sai playing with this angle, trying to get in range of this Jesse turret, bringing it down. But Brock has pretty good positioning right now to be able to hold this angle. Piper Super comes out, trying to scare off Daryl. We'll do just that. The pinch here should be complete in a matter of moments, and it is. Juarez gets picked off. Again, this turret and that Shocky star power for Jesse is definitely getting some decent value this time around.
Baraha drops the turret around the back side there as Corey tries to find a little bit of damage. Super Sai's the next one in the sights of Juarez. He actually might end up getting the kill here. Wow, the Super does it to him again. Daryl, 2 times out of 2 in this game, gotten too aggressive onto Super Sai on the Piper. And Super Sai has called him on it. He's able to back off. Tied up here safe-wise, 72% for Nova. Got chugged out just a little bit there towards the end. The Jesse causing just a little bit of a ruckus, 29 to 29K. The percentage, though, is going to be in favor of Team Totality as Jesse drops down a turret again, now just getting chunked away. 40%, 30% for Nova Esports, all that's left.
Yeah, Jesse not the highest burst damage character, but I mean, just consistently plugging away. Of course, the cleave, auto attacks, you know, bringing some good weight in there as well, being able to bounce from target to target. Sometimes if your teammate gets hit, it almost guarantees that you're getting hit as well, which can be a frustrating thing to deal with, but it's just something you have to account for.
Raha's just stayed alive so long here in the back line. He's going to try to do it. 15 seconds left. This is going to come down to a base race. 3,000 is all that's left on the top one. And Team Totality call the bluff. They end up winning the game on the back end of a solo backdoor.
Honestly, I've seen this map a lot. I've seen similar compositions to these a lot, but Jesse has never been the one to sort of do all of the damage. But I don't know if it's the angle. I don't know if it's just the way that one shook out, but it's so much damage from this Jesse, so much uptime. Granted, they left her for the back, you know, 10, 20% of that game, but my goodness, she really was working it to even get herself into a position to be the one that was left on offense.
I mean, I think even before the rest of Nova decided to leave, Baraha was just kind of hanging out over here. I mean, this is where the game ends, just plugs away the last 20 or so % of damage. But even before that, they made a conscious decision to just stop trying to, you know, pinch the Jesse in. Let's just leave and try to out DPS what Nova are bringing, or what Team Totality are bringing. Didn't end up paying off there, so 2-for-1 scoreline already. Very contested, and as I was kind of talking to Finch about at the end of our EU bracket, that's kind of what you expect as you start to get down here to the quarters, down here to the semis, then of course the finals. You hope and expect that you get a lot of sets that are not just clean 3-0s.
Yeah, especially in Heist when there's really nothing to help you. Once you start to slip in a particular direction, even if that's not the team that's going to end up winning the set, they can oftentimes take Heist because it's just such a bursty mode. One little mistake or one little play can really make the difference in a particular map. On now to Siege. Things are a little bit less random, in my opinion. I think this is a really good game mode indicator of, like, you really got to win this one, right? Sometimes your composition can pay off in one Siege, you can get it done, or it could be a more attrition style comp where you're barely doing any damage, but you just win every single mid phase and you get it done that way.
We're going to trade out a Barley for Nova for a Tick on the Team Totality side. Honestly, similar to what we saw in the last set, where the Barley is great if you're able to move forward. Tons of AoE, DOT damage onto that safe on the opposite side. Not maybe as good as Tick is at mid-control. The Siege bot is not even going to scrape 5%. A little bit more with the BB Super is all they're able to get onto that one. 19% is where that one rounds out. 3-bolt lead here for Nova as the Team Totality Siege bot expires. Corey's going to drop the Super for just a little bit of AoE zoning as Keenan uses his Super to get himself out of that one and alive. Actually, Bahara able to find the BB bounce onto the opposite side.
Attack speed activated for Keenan. Is it enough? It's enough to trade, which is probably fine because I'm pretty sure he brought at least one bolt down with him. Another attack for Blue with even bolts as well, with that one being banged. Juarez picks up the third, so they will go into the final Siege building phase.
Tied up.
Even up. This is one of those, again, this is one of those comp styles. It's not exactly super bursty. It's not really owning the turret, but they're just going to win every single mid-fight.
You're starting to lose a lot of members here. Super Side drops. They're able to clean up the Siege bot, if nothing else. Nova have had a great defense. I mean, fighting back against 2 Siege bots, only losing 37% on your safe. But this mid control has just been so in favor of Team Totality. Now they take the Bolt lead. Granted, they're now at a 2v3 disadvantage. Evened up, though. Good shots from Bahara. Super as well is going to drop Lance off. Damage reduction, but the last bubble bounce does it. Corey's in a bad spot. Drops the Super. With 2 seconds left, Team Totality are going to have the last crack at this safe. Jeez. And they're already in the lead.
Tough stuff. This is one of those Siege games that it's kind of over before it's really over. It's that slow burn. Come on through. Doesn't find the double hit, but that's okay. Like we mentioned, in the lead.
This is all just icing. Icing on the cake at this point. Totality are going to win it. Certainly do. Actually ended up getting down to 0%, funnily enough, but they take the opening siege there. And well played by them. And really, you get a mirror matchup, so obviously like player skill gets brought into question, especially with the Bull and the BB. But then you trade out the Barley for the Tick, notably, and that's kind of where my eyes went.
Definitely. I mean, if there was ever a mode where Tick would be useful, you have to imagine it's Siege, when you know where your objectives are going to be spawning long before they actually do. You have all the time in the world to get set up.
Yep.
Even considering, you know, your ultimate has enough HP to tank 3 turret shots. It's not a lot, but we've seen the difference just a slight little bit of uptime on that turret can make in terms of the overall outcome of the game. So if Tick is going to make an impact, it's going to be here in Siege.
And striking first, especially against Nova Esports, very good here, honestly, from Totality. Nova, of course, through our North American Brawl Stars Open, a team that we saw week after week competing here in these later rounds. This Open is no different. Team Totality, though, like I said, being able to strike first and then a second time could potentially make it a set point if they're able to win this siege. If it's half as convincing as the last one was, you got to be feeling good. They're going to swap out the Barley on the opposite side for a Tick. And they're going to swap out the Bull for a Primo this time around. So a little bit of positional changes from Nova Esports. Mid-control, much more even this time around. First 3 bolts likely, though, going the way of Totality. And that means they're going to get the first Siege bot. No chance to come back.
Well, here comes the first Tick Super as well, but BB is able to knock it back. Get it out of her face. Swapping out the Primo for the Bull. Obviously, Primo does still good damage. One of the fastest reloads in the game, but does not have that same burst ability that young Bull has. Still has the mobility. Again, you're just kind of giving up that big burst damage. We'll have to see if it ends up being worth it. Generally, those types of switches that are... Like, the Tick one's obvious, right? It's obvious why I think Tick paid off. But the Primo, it's almost like sometimes you think that maybe they're trying to get a read on a switch that they think Totality is likely to make, because at the moment, the Primo just feels like it's there just to be tanky and beefy and pick up screws.
Lots of value from that first siege tied up here. Maybe Nova Esports with 5 bolts, looking like they're going to get their first siege bot of this set. Level 5 is what Team Totality have on their plates. They're going to look to zone it out already, bopping it backwards. Going to use the BB bubble as well. Might get one more bounce onto it. A little bit of damage, though. Good shots there. 2 members down, though, for Team Totality. This is where the gate's somewhat open. Nova Esports able to start their attack here. Siegebot down to beneath 10%, 87% is all that's left on that safe. Lance is going to look to add a little bit extra, but much lower is the Nova Esports on the opposite side.
Yeah, definitely are. Have to be very wary about the way that this one plays out for the rest of it. Tactical deaths out in the midfield to get that respawn shield as the bot is reaching the turret. Nicely played there. It's a large part of the defense. That's something I picked that up today. I'm going to start doing that in my games, and you all should too. That's a big part of what's so fun about, you know, games competed at the highest level. You can pick up these little tips and tricks and things that these pro players do to get themselves an advantage, and you can oftentimes implement that in your own games.
Still digging the cerulean pass off of the wall, use the super, catch the ball back.
That kid's nuts.
Seal it up. Yeah, I mean, that was a
I was
wild
very
game.
impressed with him today.
Wild game from him. Team Totality just delaying the inevitable, or Nova on the opposite side. There was like 19% left on their safe heading into the last siege bot, so no real chance for them to come back. Starting to run away with it a little bit. Our Totality up 2-0. They now have 3 separate game modes to try to seal this one up. And the way they're playing now, only dropping 1 map up to this point, Nova Esports got to maybe change some things around. But playing cohesively and very well together here at Totality.
Absolutely. So it looks like Siege might just be Tick's game on. I mean, his star powers are comparable in a different way to Barley's in that you get out of combat regen much faster. 2 seconds is pretty significant in a fast-paced game like Brawl Stars. So you're able to sustain, frankly, as long as you can blow up all 3 of your bombs on the target, which in this case is stationary. It's the turret. It's not very hard to do in particular. You actually do have a higher damage upside than you can with Barley, as well as the fact that you could potentially tank the turret with your super to get in for more auto attacks than Barley would be able to get off. So that could be, it just could be the, Tick's reign.
Well, something to keep in mind, looking like Bounty on Snake Prairie actually could be the way that this one ends. I've harped on it earlier on today. Some people don't like it, but I guess from a spectator's point of view, being able to see like the delicate dance around the map, I mean,
definitely helps.
It might be tense as a player, but like being able to see the way both of the teams move, whether you just hide in the back of your base, if you're able to grab that first star, whatever it may be, Bo starts to kind of come at a premium here in this game where that extra vision within the bushes, you almost have to pick Bo because the other team will also pick it. If you're the team without that bonus vision, suddenly you're in a lot more trouble.
Well, a lot of conal cleave attacks here for both squads. However, a little bit more sharpshooter focused for Nova Esports. I really like the way Nova EU played this map. They got a small lead, they mowed all the grass in the midfield, and they backed off. Nobody could cross half court without them knowing about it, and they would soften up these targets, oftentimes killing them just for poking their heads out. It would be very, very hard for the team to come back. Initial star goes the way of Team Totality, the team leading 2-0 at the moment, and no kills have fallen thus far.
Instead of the delicate do-si-do, as I like to put it, you're just going to see a line drawn in the sand. I don't think either team can see it through all the grass, but Totality are going to back themselves off. This is where you look for Bo to really give you a lot of information. Supersized damage on this Piper is super conditional, just kind of throwing out shots, hoping they're able to connect with somebody. Maybe them auto-attacking reveals them long enough that you're able to return a little bit of fire here. You're not going to be free-firing on the Piper as much as you would hope. And maybe some other games going to clear out some space here as the first Bo bombs actually drop. Corey now a little bit exposed, might catch a little bit of damage, but it's able to get out alive. 45 seconds left, only 1 star on the board here. It's not the delicate dance I signed up for. Still don't mind Snake Prairie, but not the same tense moments as you get. Corey actually might drop here, might give Team Totality a little bit more of a lead. 60 health and 3 digits on the opposite side, but the Bo bomb actually confirms it for Nova on the opposite end. And now with 30 seconds left, despite leading all of the last 2 minutes, Team Totality are the ones who have to aggress.
This is pretty much it. I mean, super unfortunate. Whether or not they realize it, Barrage had 2 people sub 100 HP that he could have potentially gotten kills with. We don't get to see a single gravity well this game. A rather slow-paced Snake Prairie. Sometimes Bounty just shakes out this way unless it's a last-ditch effort from Barrage. Does he have the super? He does, but he can't get the kill in time. Wouldn't have been enough stars even if he had. Close, but no cigar. I mean, it really comes down to that one screeching solo from Poco just doesn't have the legs to get there. 2 people under, like I said, about 100 HP. And that's that. You mow the grass, you back off, and you play safe from that point. Barring any large mistakes, that's a pretty hard one to let go of.
I'm assuming it's ambush. And you know, kind of despite winning, you kind of take that out of it. On paper, do you think Piper makes sense here on Snake Prairie?
Yeah, this was actually snappy sniping.
Oh, was it snappy sniping?
Now I'm paying attention to the shot trails. It's been a decent mix. Earlier on in EU, it was ambush, but then people started to take snappy sniping, which I think in general, assuming you're hitting your shots, you just get more out of
it's a big assumption,
Nick. Yeah.
Not for these guys, but for me and maybe some others, certainly is. Super Psy.
Uh-oh,
name that Keenan actually playing aggressively already. He knows where everyone is. Not able to finish off the kill, but Bahara certainly can. Plenty of cleave damage for that Poco. Gets in. The first star goes the way of Nova. The Team Totality are able to get in, find a couple kills, find 4 stars. Actually staying aggressive here as we round this final corner. Having Keenan so important here, you know, despite it not being this long-range poke, being able to just have a Rosa forge you into the enemy base is paid off here for Totality.
Definitely, and they still have this right-hand lane. Actually, some have left, unless that Brock Rocket takes that. It does it. So now they have to try and cover this option here for Keenan. He's 2 ways to access red side of the map. This one little lane he's going to be looking to be playing around. Oh, he's actually going to get juggled around. That's going to cost him his life. Brock stepped on the mine that knocked Corey back into the first mine that he was just trying to trip just to blow it up and walk away. Unfortunate, but now it's a 5-star lead. and they're all on barrage, meaning he can just sit here. This is going to be very difficult to take down because he has that heal.
Snake Prairie in these bow mines, man. I mean, granted, it's because bow is constantly played, but they're these small individual mines. One particularly that won a game for a team earlier in the day. 30 seconds left. We're rounding that corner. One bow bomb for Corey off on the opposite side. Good long-range shot from Lance. Gonna clean up bow on totality. They still have a 5-gem lead as long as the Poco does not die. Neither of the 2 kills on the board will tie this one up, so Poco just has to play so safe right now. Keenan, though, he knows there's half-health members of Nova around that side. The bow bomb puts him in an awful spot. Juarez gets that kill. Keenan gets the next. And a 10-star lead is what Team Totality will take into maybe their final game here in this set. If they're able to win the next one, you know, they're moving on to the semis.
Totality had a great lead, I think, from the early onset of this game, but they really didn't stop there, and that's kind of the theme of Snake Prairie. Once you get control, you back off, you get all the information. It's much harder to be the approaching team, to reveal yourself first. And as long as Totality, like we said, as long as they don't mismanage their lead, it is tough to come back in Bounty.
I loved this Rosa pick, honestly, in this case. I mean, it's not super ideal on paper on this map. I mean, it is if the enemy team ends up running into you, because very few brawlers out-duel a Rosa from close range. But it's kind of that unknown where they send Keenan around on his own, and more times than not in this case, maybe it's luck, call it what you will, but he rounds those corners to some low-health members of Nova Esports a few times there and helps them win.
I think the initial kills from Rosa were I would have gone all in, but that's why I'm there. But it was a very nice handoff. Rosa goes in, gets the initial pressure, backs off. Poco comes in, cleans them both up, and it's I don't know if they planned it like this, but it's almost like gem grab where you want your stars on safer characters. Technically, if you can manage it that way, that's the way it worked out for Team Totality. And I think it paid off for them. Poco, how safe of a character he is, and now the Rosa swap has to come from both sides. First Poco super of the game as Corey's quicker to the trigger, and it pays off to the tune of 5 stars.
Wow, it's disastrous for Totality. Everything's looking great to start it off, but too many low members. The cleave damage from Corey's right into a couple bow bombs here. It's going to chunk away about a third of his health as he's able to get back. Keenan, though, on the Rosa. Nova are going to make that same adjustment. Keenan with the first kill. First one to damage reduction. He's able to pull this one back. Still 3-star lead, though, for Nova on the opposite side. Totality's trying to cover their escape here. A minute and 15 seconds left. 2 out of the 3 members of Nova Esports will tie it up for Totality or take the lead in the case of Corey. Fortunately, the Poco's going to catch a Rosa waiting for him in that bush there. Things likely to start slowing down here. Bow bombs are going to start mowing the grass, as you like to put it. Still a couple on the right-hand side here. Lance is just waiting for somebody to round that corner. Juarez needs to be careful, because if he does, he's got a Rosa waiting for him. Might know it now that he was able to pick off a little bit of damage.
Corey's getting a lot of supercharge here and is able to complete it here. Might be able to actually just burst his bow down. I think to prevent that counter Poco heal is going to come out.
Gotta watch out. Only Super Psy won't tie or give you the lead. Keenan stays alive. Good body blocking. Didn't maybe need it.
No, that's good body blocking.
But,
you're right.
But Poco in the range there of keeping Keenan alive. 20 seconds left is all we have. Chunked out members of Nova are starting to back off. Juarez has Lance in his face, but he's able to move back. 8 stars now for Nova, 5 over on the side of Totality, and that's what you want. You want them grouped up. They have 10 now. They can get back. If Keenan's able to stay alive with 5 seconds left, the bow bombs are in the perfect spot. Juarez might get taken out. It gives them 11, and it gives Nova Esports the win.
Wow, just because of that, they were all trying to peel for Keenan. If Keenan dies, that's a tie. If anyone else dies, that's a loss. And unfortunately, it was not Keenan who died, so it is a loss. Nova Esports bring it back.
Yeah, putting themselves on the board, a 2-1 loss followed by a 2-0. You had to stop the momentum of Totality at some point. I mean, it looked, I mean, that is, call it lucky. I mean, the bow bomb placement, or the bow super placement, I should say, has its merit. They obviously put it there to try to watch their escape backing out. If those aren't there, Totality wins, and they're going on to the semifinals.
Honestly, man,
it's those right there. No.
Hindsight's 2020. They had the lead. They were trying to get out.
Right.
Realistically, that Poco is worth 4. Trapped in a corner with 1900 HP, I think you just blast that kid off the face of the earth, and then you should be good.
You don't even have enough time to get back to those bow bombs. The game ends before you could even accidentally step on them, maybe, in this case.
Yeah, hindsight it's all 2020, so we'll let that one fall where it is. Snake Prairie is done. Bounty is done. On to gem grab in Deathcap Cave.
A lot of back and forth to be had on this map as well. Honestly, one of the more interestingly laid out maps, whereas the environment technically mirrored on either side. Both sides are going to have the same environments, just on opposite sides of the map, depending on how you look at it. But there's no really clear, true lines of sight. So many of these maps have just 3 lanes where a Piper, Brock, some of these long-range shooters can just feel free to fire away. This one, there's always something in your way, even if it's just grass, which you obviously can shoot into, but you're not always going to have a clear line of sight.
Yeah, on this one in particular, the thumbnail can be a little bit misleading. It looks like there's a ton of open space, which there kind of is in the middle, but there's also a lot of little flanking routes on the left and the right. Differences in composition this time around: a Rosa and a Spike, so pretty about as different as you can get on the spectrum.
It's not a frontliner for a frontliner, but a sort of zone controller for a run you downer on the side of Lance. Juarez is going to use the super, keep himself alive. 3-1, maybe 4-1 if they're able to move forward here. Mid control goes the way of Keenan, as we'd expect. Not able to move forward is Lance on the Rosa. 4, soon to be 5 for the Poco. Only 1 for Corey down on the opposite side. Look at this. Lance can't even get involved in this fight, dropping the super there as Keenan as well. Hara may actually end up trading out with Super Sai here in this case. Lance very low right now. Trade down on the bottom right-hand side. The super starting to bounce around. 7 gems where the Poco stands. Finally, Keenan wins that 1v1, but Lance was not able to move forward.
Keenan's having his way with it up there. I mean, this was the matchup we kind of highlighted going in. It's the difference in the comp, the Rosa versus the Spike. You can see Lance does not want the hands anymore. He's going to let Super Sai try his luck, but the consistency of curveball Spike is just too much. These melee brawlers get so chewed up before they can even reach Spike.
The gem numbers at about half here for Nova. Now at about half as they move to 5, literally half before. Good double shot back there.
Wow, what a bounce.
It's about as much utility as you can possibly get out of that super. Maybe 1 more kill. Now you have 5 gems on Lance. He wasn't able to get involved the last time due to Keenan. Now he has to really think hard about where he wants to go, because Lance has so many. 10 though for Juarez, just a slow grind up to it. And 0 on anyone else here for Team Totality. If they're able to just zone out here, Lance gets out scot-free, stays alive. 1 kill onto Super Sai might just seal it up. Lance with 62 health can't get in range. Yet again, Totality go 1 map away from the semis.
I mean, that's Barrage's ult right there. I mean, that BB bubble was incredible. I mean, I don't know if he was planning on it bouncing as many times as it did, but it did. Gets the kill, and frankly opens up the map so much for them to be able to kind of move freely. And it wasn't exactly glamorous. It wasn't like this 9-gem turnaround kill. It was about as, non-glamorous as it gets, but a kill can be critical in a moment like this.
And Barrage constantly in the face of the Nova side. I mean, you basically had Juarez on the back line collecting the gems as soon as they were spawning out, and then Barrage on one side, and then the Spike on the opposite side. Neither of the frontliners for Nova were able to, honestly, really even play the game that time around. So well played from them, maybe scratching our head a little bit. They're going to opt for the same exact thing. Keenan going to take up the left-hand side, now trading in for a Spike instead of the Rosa. Here is Corey.
So consistent, especially around the corners. It's kind of like what he was good at before, but now with curveball, it's a whole nother ball game. Barrage trying to move in for the kill. And is feeling the pain of this matchup. The knockback swing, the home run swing from BB is actually going to save the life of Juarez, but does Spike still get the kill? Unlikely.
Juarez coming in for a little bit of cleave damage to round that one out. Uses the Super Sai on the opposite side, very low. Keenan actually loses that battle with Lance. In that case, Barrage back trying to go up against this Spike. Actually could win this fight if he's able just to get within swinging range. It's the AoE zoning that he provides that's so obnoxious. Barrage now in the back line onto Lance. He's going to drop 2 of those gems. A third is waiting for him. Super Sai caught out here. Barrage is going to try to get aggressive. 3, 4, and then 9 on the map here. They're going to have 1 more to go. 1 more gem spawn that's maybe standing between them and the semifinals here. The countdown is going to begin. 15 seconds left for Team Totality. They're trying to back off. Corey is going to look for a little bit of zoning. Super Sai is going to have to move in. It's a 1-for-1 trade here. They're going to have to fight whether or not they like it. Juarez does not stay alive. Super Sai doesn't either. Countdown is going to restart.
There it is. Just really not enough gems on the map, so there's no choice but for Nova to just dive on this. And it's so difficult to put together another offensive attempt. So many people getting chewed up on the way there, playing safely enough. Juarez is able to just get in there. And,
wow.
And Screeching Solo is got to be probably the hotness. In terms of where the Brawler has moved as a result of the new star powers, I think Poco is safe to say he's made the biggest jump.
And well played there from Totality with a 3-1 win over Nova, surprisingly enough. They're going to move themselves on to the semis. Good play here, though. Gem grab. They pretty much had it sealed up from the start. They adopted the spike into the double front line on the opposite side. Nova tried to replicate it, had to go way too deep for those gems, and it just didn't work out.
Boy, am I glad I committed to Poco as being my first power level 10 on my account.
Yeah, nice.
God.
Do you have Screeching Solo?
I do actually have Screeching Solo. I got it not too long after it came out, too. I was fairly blessed on that one, for sure.
I got the Brawler luck in my Brawl boxes, but you have all of the star power
Big
luck,
brain,
I guess.
Dude, because I had to pick months and months ago, so I just picked him based off of, I like this guy. He looks cheeky as hell, and I like the way he plays. Fair enough. Got the heal. I'm cool with that. Let's ride this one out. Flavor of the month turns the corner in my favor right as I get to power 10.
Sure.
Christmas came early, baby.
You might be signing up for this one. Just play Poco every single time.
Just
And
Poco
if you're smart, then you ban out Poco.
Somebody was in EU earlier playing Poco on like 150 trophies. He's like that strong, and he's
probably
he's easy. He's easy enough to play.
Yeah, you got a strum. I mean, it's a cone. You can't turn backwards and fire here in this case. That's going to do it, though, for the quarters here in North America. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're starting the semis.
Welcome back, folks, here to North American Open. We're heading out of the semifinals. My name is Pretty Hair. I'm going to be joined now by Mr. F. here as we bring you the home stretch of this tournament. We got some big news on the bracket, some big boys, some familiar names and faces have been knocked out.
Rough stuff here. Congratulations, first and foremost, to Sneaky Plantas, one of our NA Open standouts in their new grab of Space Station Gaming. Congratulations on the new organization. Unfortunately, no congratulations. You got beat by Stepmom.
3-0'd, no less.
Rough.
3-0'd. Saw 3-2 there in the quarterfinals. A 3-1 just witnessed by Nova Esports and Team Totality. Going to be witnessing AA take on Team Totality at this point. The bans are Gene and Shelly. Totality have taken Gene. AA.exe have gotten rid of Shelly. If quick firing is what they're looking to do, banning Shelly was not the play.
Yeah, not going to be the case here, but the Gene ban is standard at this point. I think we've seen a lot of Gene bans. Just does something that some of the other characters just don't bring.
Displacement, baby, consistent as well, and it's a Frank here in Siege. We will see the tick, but some differences in these compositions from the onset. A little bit of that Penny. Give me some old school vibes here in Siege.
Yeah, I mean, Penny's going to be looking to hunt down the big guys, and when it comes down to Siege, we've seen that the tank strategy has been largely effective, and so Penny's able to just kind of go for it with the explosion of the turret if that's the situation she's going to go for. If not, then she could be offensive with the turret and allow it to leave those little pools a la Barley style or Brock style, so we'll see which way it goes.
Nice movement there from Keenan just to kind of circumvent the Frank pressure. 5 bolts to 2. The first Siege phase was a tie. Frank's so adept at dealing with those tick supers. Just a couple of smashes of the hammer. He'll be good to go. Super's charged. Not quite targeting it yet. 24 seconds left to collect bolts here. Keenan might just be tanky enough to survive this. Not only does he survive, he's looking for the kills.
This is absurd. We had the first Siege was a tie at 2, and then every other nut and bolt has gone the other way. It's 13.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 14 rank Siege bot.
This probably will be the end of the game. I don't know.
It should be. It's up to AA to really stop this push, but it'll be tough. Barry uses the super right off the bat, so that's not going to be available. It's up to Tick and Bull to do all this damage.
Yeah, Yeezy was moving out, I think, to get that midfield death. A little bit of tanking from the Penny turret, but overall, this is a lot of damage happening pretty quickly here. Still have that bull. He's going to back off, and frankly, decently mitigated given the way that started.
Yeah, not as much damage as you and I had anticipated, Nick, and I think that all comes down to, honestly, a lack of offense. AA, sure, played defense well enough. I'm not taking anything away from them, but that really was team totality, just dropping the ball. Like I said, Barra supered way too early. Juarez didn't have it available. It was kind of a mess.
This composition of Bull, BB, and Tick has been seen largely, and it might just be that attrition composition. You know what I mean? They're doing a good job of winning a lot of these, but now they have to defend. I guess they rank 10 Siege Bot midfield death, so the respawn shield will hopefully be coming in to tank some of this stall is the name of the game. Frank stuns out the turret as the others move in to try and get the damage. 27% is the mark to hit. Not only are they going to hit it, they're going to blow right by it. One phase. Team totality to take the seat this time around. It's AA.exe taking game one.
A little bit more offense there, I think, on the other side. I think that was absolutely the key. Like I said, they actually just ran for it. They actually went in. All three players had what was available. Even though Team Totality had a good defense with their respawn shields, like you said, just wasn't enough.
I'm not sure how I feel about Penny. It felt like she wasn't so much involved in that game. I mean, decent damage, I'm sure, from the turret. It's cool that it can kind of tank the robot for a little bit as well, but definitely we'll have to see if they run that one back.
Yeah, the Penny's interesting, like you said. It's there to tank the siege bot a little bit, and then when it explodes, it'll theoretically do a bunch of damage to said siege bot.
Ideally, in an ideal world. Same composition run back here, Team Totality. Moving out for that first 5-bolt phase. Looks like it's going to be almost the same comps run back, switching out the Frank for the Bull this time around. So now the only difference is the Tick and the Penny.
Right side, Keenan able to win a little bit of a fight. Still 1-1. Blue team is controlling mid pretty well, even though Yeezy's able to win the fight on the left side. That said, it's enough, and it's going to be level 2 siege bot here for Team Totality. And Keenan's kind of low. I want him to heal up before the push.
See if he's able to get out of combat, kind of, sort of. Still has his charge available. Bull
Look at Barra.
dancing so nicely around, trying to move in, get something done.
Barra over here just, I don't know what happened there. I mean, the BB player walked in, walked out, walked in, walked out, do damage to the turret. I think that would...
Or get out.
Yeah.
Make a decision. Hesitation can be deadly. 16 seconds till the next siege. And already Team Totality out to a good lead. We've seen this before, however. First two going their way last time around. All it took was one siege, one phase to get it done.
Another whiff here from the BB player. I know it sounds like I'm being incredibly negative. I guess that's because I am. But at the end of the day, it's a liability. We need to see more damage from it. I'm looking at BB this time around.
Tick's going to throw out the initial bombs here to start getting some poke. Nobody else confident enough to move in. It's just the style I think they've gone for of just we want to win the mid phases. We want to win all 3 of the mid phases if possible.
And
they've set themselves up. Doesn't matter how much damage we do if you never play offense.
I think that's the key here. Team Totality just going for a little bit of poke here and there. 63%. Still a large wall to climb, to be fair. Only 36 seconds left.
These last couple of bolts, I think, are going to swing things back in favor of AA.exe, meaning that they are going to get that one offense. And last time, it was only one offense that it took. This is the level 9 Siege Bot, albeit not the same level Siege Bot. It was a close race, but this is not a very big margin for them to climb. They only need to hit that 62% mark to win the game.
Here you've got people pushing in from all 3 angles. Alec up top, and there comes the Bull from the right-hand side. Already did it. Already did it. Siege Bot will go down. The turret won't, Nick, but that's game.
I guess it's the commitment to that style of we are just, you know, our frontliners, our BB, our Bull are not going to go in there, and it's the all-in strategy that appears to have been paying off. Those are pretty similar compositions. Penny is not doing so much more damage than Tick to the point where she's one-phasing these turrets all on her own. It is those other, you know, brawlers that Team Totality had drafted, had access to, but they just did not play this composition the same way.
like you said, the strategy here from Team Totality was very kind of passive and looking for small chips. AA, on the other hand, is just able to come down here and all in. That refusal to quit and the ability to just go in all the way, I think, is what brought them the win.
Well, that does it for Siege. We're going to move on to Brawl Ball. And watching that last replay again, I might be sleeping a little bit on the value of that penny turret. I think so much of what happens on these defenses and these offenses on Siege is like you juggle the aggro, you kind of, put your dukes up and body block the robot a little bit. And that is playing directly into the penny turret, which hits extremely hard, leaves that puddle of fire. So maybe I'm sleeping on that penny pick just a little bit.
Well, next up, we're going to do Brawl Ball. You think Penny's going to work there?
No, I don't think that. Not a lot of people. I actually like playing Penny in solo queue here because a lot of people pick just beefy brawlers, stack up and try and run it down. And
like Frank.
If you're able to cleave with Penny, man, she does some of the highest damage in the game.
Kanan over here on Frank, man. Look at this big guy. Got a big bone.
I think that's actually like a cave woman skin.
It's very cool.
Yeah. I wish I just had the character, man.
Yeah.
Him and Mortis. Those are the last two I want. But Mortis for me is like, I want the star powers. I don't really have a lot of interest in playing Mortis until I get the star powers.
That's very true.
The struggle.
Juarez Juniors almost own goals there. Push up the left side, and the ball kicked over to a red side field. Keenan thinking about it, going for the super in the zone, thought about being aggressive, instead played defensive. Definitely more of his role here, Nick. Left side being looked at. Gotta wait out the super from the slow man.
Frank slamming away,
boom.
Goes for the super, does land it. Rose is gone. No sustain on the side of AA.exe. They win Siege, but at the moment they are on the back foot and Brawl Ball. Slow goes out from Spike. Keenan's able to largely avoid that.
But that's huge. I mean, that's Spike super used on the right side. Juarez and Barra, though, excellently kept at bay by Smith Lee until the push up here. And all that Barra did not do last game could be apologized for with a play like this. The ball pushed up, killed, the ball pushed up again, and the goal.
I was watching Frank there just to see if he was going to just blow that super to really open up the goal for potentially a second one here, but Keenan holds on to it, wants to actually make use of it against the enemy brawlers. Understandable. It's always good to hit your supers, and he does just that, stunning it out.
Beautiful play by the Poco.
Bait out the damage reduction shield, stunned again. Yeezy doesn't even get to play the game.
Not at all. Neither does his friend.
Wait.
Barra with the super kick. 2-0.
Okay, that's going to be the first map of Brawl Ball. In totality, able to grab that one back. Differences in the composition that time around. Obviously, the sustain being one of the bigger factors, but I didn't feel that overwhelmingly won the game.
Sure, no, not at all. I think this was just good Brawl Ball play. Up here, you see Barra after the fact, and this is the 1-2 punch, right? You pass it to your opponent. Your opponent, don't forget, can't fire while they're holding the ball. So you pass the ball to your opponent and then finish them off with the last shot. They literally can't fight back. Keenan does the same thing there. If you're
unfortunate.
Hey, man, tell me, how much damage can you do if you can't attack me?
Nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
That's it.
That's not a lot of damage. Not nearly enough to take down Frank, one of the tankier guys in the game. You saw Smith Lee spinning around. He wanted the assist from Alexis, but the assist never came. Beefing up their squad this time around. Upgrading into the Primo. Lots of HP to go around, but still no sustain. We'll see if it ends up haunting them.
I like the idea here from Team Totality. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stick with the same composition.
Slow goes out onto BB. Largely ineffective. She wasn't too concerned about moving through that zone anyway. Clearing the ball up, so some offensive potential can still come out. Keenan slams through onto Bull, trying to win this one. Screeching Solo is going to help turn it around. Frank Super is available, would outright kill Spike at this HP, out of combat, regenning health. Keenan moving in for the strike, wind up and the pitch. The knockback home run strike is going to actually push Primo into the stun.
Barra, insane play. Again, like I said, for what all is forgiven for round number 1. What a beautiful, beautiful combination of skills.
Very, very nicely done. Again, Keenan with the super at the ready. Screeching Solo grabs the kill outright onto Spike. Keenan's going to let that bull blow right by him and leads him perfectly into the stun. The man did it to himself. Super doesn't stun out Spike. Alex still here to play defense on the goal. Juarez going to try to run this one in. Perfectly timed kick. That was not free. He had to time that kick pretty well to get it in.
This was great. I just want to watch the replays.
Yeah.
I mean, this was because this was smooth brawl ball.
Yeah.
Sometimes brawl ball is won by being better at Brawl Stars. Me and my friends hit our buttons better, and sometimes brawl ball is won like this.
Yeah, really, really nicely done. A lot of great things happening in both of these goals, or to make both of those goals happen.
This is hot.
Here we go. The wind-up, home run stun. It's really, really great stuff there, but we're just going to take a look at the goals here. Pixel perfect kick as well.
Yeah, I mean, that combination of stuff was really fun. Frank has the long windup on the super, so the player's able to run out of range, and then BB's right there to home run, swing him right back into it. That was planned. You're in comms making that call, saying, I'm going to use the super, I got the stun, and BB's like, I got the knockback in there. That's something they've practiced. That's not the first time they've done that, and I think that's my favorite watching games where something has been pulled, obviously, from a playbook or a practice or a scrimmage, and you get to see it there, and you're like, that's a well-oiled machine.
Pretty stark differences in the composition. Loved seeing Frank. That's something originally we would only really see in our earlier rounds of the tournament, but he, frankly, was kind of the difference maker in that brawl ball. I mean, phenomenally played around the home run swing as well. I mean, all good stuff.
I've been asking for him for a little bit. Not every match, every game, every mode, every map. But absolutely more in the brawl ball and the Snake Prairie worlds. I think Frank can come out. Here, though, this is a more conservative game, at least for AA. But Team Totality, on the other hand, wishes their opponent was a little more conservative.
Yeah, I think this one's over. This is what I mean when I say heist. You know, one misstep can really cost it. It was close because Keenan got to that safe with his attack speed stim activated, so they almost caught up.
Yep.
Maybe with slightly less hesitation on the initial charge up, because I saw he kind of fakey stepped down like he wanted to go play defense, and then that's what I'm saying. Hesitation, even if it's not the best play, hesitation is going to kill you in heist.
That's it, man. I've been saying it for years. Hesitation leads to devastation. You got to make that decision right then and there, and if not, you wind up just looking at your feet. You got to be able to make this choice, because like you said, Keenan shows up. Yeah. Keenan shows up, and look how close this squad gets there. But you see that little bit of nonsense he does?
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah. Has the attack speed sim, you saw blue safe is half HP when red gets started.
Yep.
And they still almost catch up. Also, notably running fertilize instead of curveball with Spike last time. That's intense. I was like, maybe he misclicked or something. We've been seeing curveball all day. Very little fertilize.
Not the same play. I was really just holding my breath to see if we'd watch players just run past each other again. But Keenan's going to play more defense this time. Alex is kind of pushed out, and Yeezy literally pushed out. Juarez is here putting a little slow field. Damage is coming through on Team Totality safe, though.
Yeah, it's already a significant chunk. I mean, Smith is here. I don't know if he's running. Okay, he's running damage reduction instead of attack speed this time around. I think that's the same as he took in round number 1. Keenan just getting handled by Primo here. My goodness.
That's over. It's over. Primo downstairs. Nobody able to look at him. Primo's just going to handle this. Oh, man. Wait, what happened to Primo?
He just dances out, waiting for some teammates. If they go in together, he'll be devastating. He pulled off of his own free will and volition. One last yeet. They all dive in at the same time, obliterate not just the safe, but Team Totality as well. I mean, a very, very handy defeat there on Sandy Jim's. Heist is gone and done in just a couple of minutes.
He ran down there, and I was like, oh, here it is. It's over. And you see the health bar go,
stop.
I just sat there. I was like, wait, what happened? I look at the kill feed. I'm like, well, you didn't kill him. So he just stopped and waited for the teammates to kind of regroup there.
Yeah, that's a high-octane offense for sure. Primo, BB, and Bull almost can't draft more beef if you ask for it.
Yeah, see, he just kind of hangs out, and then they all go in, like you said, dash, jump, push.
Bubble. I mean, they literally had everything available together. Coordinated strike all at the same time. Just that little bit of CC from the elbow drop is actually, very, very helpful in terms of helping your bull get that leg up. Heist is done. We're headed to Bounty on Layer Cake this time around.
One of my favorite maps here for Bounty. I think Bounty can be kind of stagnant, but Layer Cake kind of combats that, by adding different layers of protection. You've got that kind of no man's in the middle, and then once you're able to win a team fight or win a fight or two, you're able to push up, and that allows you to, you want to push up to maintain map control, and that kind of gifts you for being aggressive in a game mode that normally punishes you for being aggressive. So I think this map is really, really well designed.
And it's a map that's kind of like, as it gets destroyed, is still largely the same as you move from layer to layer, which is kind of interesting because, you know, you look at like Snake Prairies, it's a completely different map once you start removing the grass. I mean, it's just it's the Piper dream after that point, whereas, you know, it might start off better for a Shelly or a Rosa.
Right now, you're seeing kind of the difference there between this and an open map. Poco's not able to really find these giant shots. He's got to kind of whittle his way around. Juarez Jr.'s on the right side. I like this switch. He came from left to right, and that's going to force Poco up a little bit to the right side, going back to this 1-2-3 combination as opposed to the 1-2-2. It's kind of neat.
Okay, that just gets a kill.
Head. Yep.
The Tick Super bowling balls it all the way down, gets the strike that he sought after. So not only do Team Totality grab the neutral star, they also grab that first kill as well. And it's been 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 convincingly as well. Sometimes these 2-0s don't quite tell the whole story. They kind of have in this set. Yeezy gets spotted out. Tick Super yet again finding some big damage. Tough to come back from these early deficits in Bounty.
So I'm looking for the next move out of AA. They've got no stars right now, and they're just continuously losing. Where do they find their opportunity? And that's the problem. You know, I posed a rhetorical question kind of intentionally. BB and Poco and Pam, the team needs to all surround BB and push forward, and that's just not feasible.
They have a lot of sustain, but they're not able to really group up and leverage it. 420 HP left on the Tick Super. It's not enough to get there. 9 for nothing. 20 seconds on the clock. This could be a good old-fashioned skunk.
It just might be, and that's kind of unheard of. Usually we at least see a little bit of a bite back.
Something at Bounty.
Oh, man. Well, here players are going a little bit deep, but still Team Totality on top.
Again. I don't know, man. These 2-0s, these convincing 2-0s as well.
Goodness.
I don't know who's. This has been the fastest, like 4-game set, I think, of the entire day.
Yeah.
These guys are just stomping each other out of the building, back and forth. I don't know who's going to win gem grab, but somebody's probably going to stomp it out. I don't see, unless a major composition change happens, that shakes this up somehow. I don't know how this goes any other way. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, this was easy, I think, for Team Totality. Just like really no competition available. I don't really know what to dissect here. The composition out of AA wasn't really strong enough to kind of cross that middle line. They didn't really have any control over what they were able to do. And despite the sustain, they weren't really in a position to make use of the sustain. So, I don't know.
I just got Pam, so maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But anytime I see Pam, at least at the competitive level, I'm like, you're trying to get to somewhere and dig in there and try to not fall back. The getting there and digging in never really happened, I guess, in that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if it does, it's a different story. Does it change a 15-0? I don't think so.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
We'll have to get in here and see what the difference is. Almost
a little tough one.
Entirely back to the drawing board. Completely different composition this time around from AA.exe. How could you blame them? Just did not work last time around. Tick, Barley, the only differences between the two.
No Pam.
No Pam, no
Feel
Poco.
good about that one.
No BB.
Easy on the Brock, looking for the long-range shots on the left lane. Middle side, the Penny Mirror. The Barley versus the Tick. How do you feel about this matchup?
It's kind of funny. They play similar. They're both robots. One of them's like super old, like old-timey, old school, and the other one's just like youthful exuberance running around. Like, it's kind of just like completely irrelevant to the actual mechanics of the game. It's kind of a funny like matchup, like lore on paper. I like it.
The flavor, the Vorthos coming out here for pretty hair. I like the. I think Head First is such a game changer. It's less all-out DPS, but the fact that you can kind of drive it makes it a little bit more scary, and that's why Juarez is able to kind of zone here as he's getting closer and closer to his super, I think. Plus, the shading over from Penny to the left side is going to help as well.
I mean, look at the when you watch Tick's health bar. The second he stops throwing those attacks, he is out of combat region. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, that's the whole thing, right? That's his. If it's going to be a star power, it's got to be strong. There's Headhunter. Look at that. Look at that play. Keenan in the combo.
Nice. That's very well played there for sure. The knockback coming into effect. 5-2. Not the stomp that we saw in game 1. Set 4.
You say that, but I feel like it is. It's not a goose egg on AA. They have a kill, and it's 5-2. But up until this point, and now I'm changing my tune, but up until this point, Team Totality had largely controlled this game, and it wasn't close. But with that kill on a Yeezy, all right, Juarez gets the kill.
Outside of the first blood and that trade, that was a 4, in terms of stars, 4 for 2, so really mathematically not super worth it whatsoever. That is a team totality victory, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. The theme remains as we head to our 5th and final deciding set before we can head to the finals of North America and close out the day. It's, I believe, gem grab is all that is left. These teams have really kind of laughed each other out in turn, so we'll have to see if history is going to teach us anything. And we will just continue to see that. Undermine is the map for Gem Grab. Typically a little bit of a closer game mode. It's kind of harder to blow each other out of the water in a game that just holistically moves a little bit slower.
Right? I mean, you say that, and Bounty is normally our slowest game mode.
True. Bounty just kind of ends when it ends, unless it ties, I suppose.
Gem Grab, on the other hand, will be a little bit more active for the players that are trying to kind of recuperate, right? You're trying to come around the backside after you've gotten after you've lost the lead. If we're going to see the aggressive plays, that's when it's going to show up. So really the question is, are we going to see the fights off the bat, or are we going to see the fights towards the end?
Undermine is interesting too, because there's a couple of ways you can do it. If you pick something like a Rosa to take the flanks, that's one way to do it. You usually have like a Piper or something sit in that middle lane bush. It looks like it will largely be a beefy squad. At least half of the brawlers in this game north of 6,000 HP. Spike and Jesse trying to lock things down. This is, I think, the only time we've seen Jesse outside of whatever that one heist map is called that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Jesse
but you know the one.
I know exactly the one, because you're able to make use of the curves and stuff. But immediately, I'm looking at Bo and not Piper.
Yeah. Piper's just not really been around quite as much today. I don't know, man. Piper's been the talk of the town. Bo has certainly been seen a little bit more on the whole of the day. 6-0 so far. In keeping with our theme of you 2 us, 2-0 us, and then we are going to 2-0 you. The bow bombs go out, juggling poor Jesse. My goodness, what a lead this has been off to. Yeezy winning his 1v1 as well. 2 more, 3 more gems on the board. Bow moves around to quickly claim the life for the Spike.
8-2. Red team going to collapse on a Barra here as well.
That'll do it.
Maintain control of the mid. 11 zip. And,
why dive
that? Ouch. That'll hurt.
Certainly will. Last couple of seconds diving in now. Smith Lee kind of blows right by his targets. Might be some contest. Do they get these gems out of here?
Yes!
Absolutely
the full
not.
kill! The turnaround, though.
She's trapped, though.
Blue team, sure. But where are the respawn? Too far away.
Yeah, and now they get all the gems onto that one target, not having a way to destroy any of this terrain. If they could have bailed that Rose out of that corner, that would have been it. That would have been the turnaround kill. They know where this bull is at. You just have no way to push this guy in the corner. He's going to charge his super up. He has the mobility. That is what it is. Kind of a blowout there in the first one. We'll have to see if any comp changes are made. Jesse really didn't get too much done, but those were such vastly different compositions. It's kind of tough to pin it on any one brawler in particular.
Yeah, I think that was just team play right there. Just good stuff. Strong understanding of when you're trying to make these plays. Here you see this is kind of the beginning. The first gem goes to team totality, and then it's just about kind of pushing and continuing to really do what you brought to the table. I mean, red team just found the long-range shots out of the bow, and what was that?
Yeah, Yeezy won this 1v1 as well with Barrage. Barrage just, I think, missing one sequence of attacks there. But those one little kills, even in the case of, some of these sharpshooter characters, one attack is going to make the difference. We've seen whoever gets their Poco super online first in Bounty pretty much win the game off of that, barring any other mistakes. Poco, Frank, the adjustments here. When in doubt,
Frank it out.
beef it out. I was going to say Frank it out works too. Keenan running. I think he's running Sponge too. He's got 9,120 HP.
Boom.
He's ready to rock and roll.
That's my commentary the whole game.
Smush.
Just yelling. Keenan walking down here left side, taking whatever he wants. Right side, taking whatever they want. Keenan's going to look less to pick up the gems and more to zone out, while Juarez is going to be the guy picking up these gems and slowly building up that star power to provide healing for whoever needs it. Maybe the right side.
I don't know why he destroyed that particular thing of terrain. It feels like it just opens up the map a little bit more for Bo, whereas he was kind of using that to hide and stay close enough to Bo to be a threat. Interesting.
Keenan now wishes he had that super available. Yeezy takes him down. The super shield right there, no problem. But Barra immediately answers back. 4-4, though, as Alex has picked up 4 gems himself.
Bo plugging away dutifully with these arrows, hitting a decent amount of them. Keenan gonna eat a bow bomb. Literally doesn't even put him below like 75%. Interrupts the Frank super, takes the charge as well. Whether or not he intended to, he just kind of outplayed that Frank. 6 gems on the line here. Screeching solo is enough to keep Barrage alive. Critical moment there from Juarez.
That was huge. That really was a giant play. Both able to find the healing and the damage on top of the fact. Really nut stuff from the utility player. Left side, Keenan doesn't let Yeezy back in. And one more time to Frank.
This is trouble.
Oh, boom! Right on top into the charge. Smith Lee still turns it around, but I'll tell you one thing. Look cool.
Ooh, damage reduction is going to be able to bail out Juarez. Does he have the Screeching Solo? He does, to get his gems just a little bit further on his side of the map, and they get in the pocket here. They get out of combat. The healing starts. This is it. AA need to grab this win if they want to keep this set alive, if they want to keep this one going close, but no cigar. The Beef Squad is enough to bring it back, and it's all going to come down to one final game.
Keenan, look, Juarez winds up with star power per the game. Keenan gets star power, or excuse me, star player per game. That was all Frank, baby. I mean, he starts it off just going Frank smash. We get a cool win on the left side just for the highlight reel. And then after the fact, he actually really comes to town and is integral in the game as he puts certain players to sleep and just opens up this left side of the map, which looked like it would have been great for Bo, but all it did was allow team totality to kind of wrap around and make use.
Tough moments for sure. Everybody kind of has to group and file up here. Double stun. Very difficult for AA to push into. A tough situation to be in nonetheless. I think they dealt with it as best they could, but it is still going to force that penultimate game here in Gem Grab to decide our finalists here. This is going to be a obviously not the theme of the set here of everybody 2-0ing each other, but we actually get to see one come down to the wire.
That's
more comp changes. Pretty likely, you think?
I don't know. If I'm both teams, I kind of just stick to it.
It was kind of close enough.
Yeah, I think I stick to it. This is kind of apropos, though. 2-0 one side, 2-0 one side, and then at the end, it all comes down to one. You know, like the real summer blockbuster. I'm down.
Yeah, finally crescendoing here into something worth talking about as we load in for what will be the final time, no matter what. Small adjustments here. Forsaking the Frank this time around for the Primo.
I'm fine with that.
Basically the flesh and blood version of Frank.
I mean, it's going to work the same sort of way, except where Frank stands his ground and looks for more control right then and there. Keenan's going to be able to chase down some of these gem carriers a little bit better. So, you know, different variants of the same role for sure, but I think Keenan made the right adjustment here.
Oof, can't get the super off either. Movement speed still active. Keenan making his move. He's going to run right into Bull. Get 3-shot the Screeching Solo, not enough to finish off Bo. Smith Lee trying to run away from the lady with the gloves. I think they're just going to let those 2 gems be where they may, or at least let Barrage go get them. One of the tankier characters lining things up. Yeezy starts the fight on to Keenan. It looks like he is going to win it.
Meanwhile, right side, Smith Lee is going to vivisect the entire map with a nice dash. Yeezy still falls down. Juarez is playing a concerto out here, folks. 6 gems, make it 7. And Juarez, he's carrying 4, which is kind of not what he wants to do with the way this team has worked, because he's kind of out in front. But if he returns to kind of where this position usually is, it's fine.
Uh-oh. Want to get these on the Barrage. It looks like bow mines have honestly been good.
Yeah.
Alex is placing these very, very effectively. 5-7. as close as it could get pretty much here in the final game. No matter what happens, we will crown a victor. Somebody will move on to the finals of North America. Big prime to start the day. There is enough gems out on the field to close the game if somebody can just get all of them.
Wow.
And the countdown will start, potentially 15 seconds left. Look at that, intergalactic elbow into the bow mines. Keenan's forced to eat so
10
much
seconds.
damage on his way there. No intergalactic elbow from Keenan to try and answer. Another one from Yeezy. 3, 2, 1. Can they get the kill? They will. Forcing the reset. Keenan, if he gets out with all of these gems, all 10 in his pockets, they are going to throw 2 back.
Barra's here.
8 in total for Red. Yeezy goes in with the elbow drop. Is unable
5
to get the kill. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bull's going to charge in. Keenan just keeps running for the hills. And El Primo, no other character in the game, could have closed the gap fast enough to bring that one back, and my man got it done.
Listen, like I said at the opening moments, I was like, listen, the change from Frank is a stationary character that's going to control the situation. Keenan is going to do largely the same thing, but have the movement speed to either chase down or run away. That's going to be the difference maker. Bam, there he comes. Keenan making the right move.
Well done there, man. That was really, really fun to watch. Rarely do you see those types of last-second Hail Mary turnaround plays actually pay off, but in this case, it does. Keenan was catching the hands here over on the right-hand side, and that's what kind of started the flood, things to go back in the way of Red. Yeezy gets in there.
Keenan!
You know what's funny, man? Because Yeezy jumped in there, he allowed Keenan to get the damage to charge his super, to dive on that bow, and potentially kill him and turn the game around. I don't know. Had Yeezy not gone in there, that could have been a very different story.
Oh, man. It looked like an old Keenan and Kel sketch. Just Keenan jumping over the fence, and you see his teammates like, Keenan, where are you going? Keenan!
There go that boy.
And then, bam, it resets at the literal 1 second mark.
Yeah,
and then because he has the movement speed, that allows him to get out from behind enemy lines. Smooth plays, man. Smooth plays. And that's the match.
That is the match. We do have our finalists now. I mean, this has been a great day so far of both European action. We had Latin American yesterday. The North American finals, the last set of this weekend of Brawl Stars action, will be coming after you after this short break.
Welcome back to the Brawl Stars Open in North America. My name is Finch, and we've had a weekend chock full of Brawl Stars action. LATAM happened yesterday. We even had the European Union earlier today, and now we are wrapping up North America in the finals. Going to be Totality up against the Stepmoms, and to help me break all of that down, I am joined by Tom F. Badinger right here next to me. How you doing, man? Yo, indeed. A man, a few words, notoriously short-winded.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, this match that we're going into, Totality versus Stepmoms, I expect to be a really good game. Let's take a look at the path both of these teams took to get here. Clearly not an easy one. In fact, Stepmoms earlier on in this tournament did take down that Space Station team, formerly Sneaky Plantas, if you were watching back when we had the Open before. That was just North America. So clearly a team that has some talent on it to have beaten a roster like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun kind of watching they're a strong team. I don't know why they're calling themselves Stepmoms today. way, but it is what it is. We'll call it how we see it. So Team Totality versus these guys. This is a matchup, you know, they know each other. They know how they're going to play. No Piper, no Jean, so I want to see what the players actually bring out.
That's right. There's definitely still room for a lot of really good stuff. I mean, we've seen things like BB and Buck kind of run the day here so far. Those will all still have plenty of room. We're going to start out, though, on Bounty, into Gym Grab, followed by Heist. We will see Brawl Ball and Siege if necessary, but of course we're starting out on Bounty. And one of the more sparse Bounty maps, I suppose, you'll find here is Shooting Star.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty wide open. I think this is why we see the Piper ban, because of how open this map is and how effective she would be. So expect to see stuff like Bo. Expect to see stuff like Brock. And
maybe some Shelly, too. She's been getting banned a lot throughout the day. She got a little bit of love coming through with that new star power, so people thought that she'd be kind of the toast of the town, and then she was. She got banned in almost every set, so we haven't even gotten to see her put into action. Maybe there's a chance she'll come through here.
It's possible. I've always looked at Shelly as more of a counter to those stronger characters, those bigger, frankly, just like larger hitboxes, smaller spread for the shotgun to hit, right?
Sure.
So I've looked at it as a counter, but with the new star powers, like you said, maybe she'll come out and kind of be oppressive.
I think there is some room for her to work here in this one. We just saw Totality kind of go down to the wire, right, in the set just before this one, where it was so back and forth, a bunch of 2-0s, then finally it gets close in that very last set there between those two teams. So coming off a tough win like that, up against here, Stepmoms, I'm expecting this to be a pretty close back and forth set here as well.
I mean, don't forget, SSG just recently, new organization, they're one of the favorites, and they were taken down here by IX, so we'll see if that actually works out, because Team Totality, a tall task. Keenan burning that dash to get on up, but he trades himself out just like that.
Look at all these. I mean, we don't normally see these. I mean, we have a Cult up on the top side here for Stepmoms, a Mortis down here for Keenan. I mean, these feel a little bit like earlier in the bracket tournaments, but in open-up maps like this, Cult makes some sense. Do you like this Mortis pickup?
You know, the Mortis is interesting. If he gets behind enemy lines and is able to do what he's trying to do, which is, you know, just hunt people down, it's fine. Ideally, he wants to look for Jack on the Colt. That's the target. That's exactly where he's going to go. Now, if he can wiggle his way out without dying, that's the game plan. But if he continues to go in, kill, and get killed, it's not an effective trade.
Yeah, not so sure that it will be indeed. Comes out on top here in that last engagement. Do Stepmoms. They want to keep this one going, but they're running out of cover as that's been blown away by Juarez, who even finds Chepo as well to take him down on the Cult. That makes it 5-7. Still Stepmoms in control with a minute to go.
Really, what I'm looking at is for Crying Man to step up. This guy's been a hard carry for this team for a long time, and you know, on the Brock, he's got a lot of power to do that. He can provide the long-range damage, walk up with a super, and shoot people down. His job to destroy terrain is not there. His job is just to destroy players, but Juarez is doing such a great job of keeping him at bay, and Keenan is being kept. I mean, that's what Tick's trying to do, just deny Keenan space.
Another kill there for Crying Man, and Chepo going to take this opportunity to remove the turret, but Keenan moves in and finds himself a high-value target. The only problem is Colt damage a little bit too strong for Barrage. He goes down as well. That makes it 12-9 in favor of Stepmoms, and they're still the ones pushing forward, make that 15-9. I don't know how Totality turns this around to make a push, but they don't have a choice.
I mean, look, Colt just turned it on. I mean, Jack audacious enough to take this guy out, and he's taking players out with it. Jack Chepo and Crying Man over here from the right side have been largely successful, but Keenan on the run, the catch was huge.
Wow, it still wasn't enough. That's crazy. They got so many there towards the end, and Stepmoms stay out on top with one return.
Yo, the catch right there was gigantic. Keenan going from right to left with the Mortis, that was the game takeover. But Crying Man with the long-range Brock shots, that's what wins the game. If Keenan's allowed to just go from right to left and reverse typewriter it, I mean, that's it. It's over. So a great shot there from Crying Man on the right side.
And Mortis definitely has some times where he's strong. I'm just a bit curious that he was selected here in this map where the sharpshooters do so well up against him and they have so much room to operate, and it's clear where Mortis is going to be coming from. He did occasionally find some picks on his own, yes, but I wonder if maybe Keenan, if that worked out for him, if that's even when he won in that spot.
It was a little bit rough, I think, like I said. In practice, the Keenan was... in theory, Keenan was supposed to hunt down the squishies, right? And he had 2 squishies, but Tick just did a great job of denying a lot of that area. And when Keenan was able to get in behind, he did convert, but he almost immediately out-traded. I like to see the change up here for Keenan. I think it was a good idea in theory, Finch, but in practice just didn't work out.
Well, look how different both these squads are. Stepmoms immediately start going a lot bulkier here. They find themselves a Primo and the Buck, and then they've got the Poco there to keep them healthy. And as he mentioned, to do some sneaky damage in his own right. right. Poco with some of his stain, just the star power, can hit pretty hard here as well. Brock here for Barrage yet again to see if he can find some range, but at this point, Stepmom's happily just to kind of force it down mid.
Yeah, they're just walking.
Oh my
look at
God.
Crying Man just punching. Nice trade out. Barra able to just do that. But Stepmoms here have just been aggro all day.
They're still up here. This is wild to the point of almost too much, and yet Chepo's able to step up and trade out yet another kill. Slash falls back to trade aggro, and then finds another pick for himself. It's 13-4, and Stepmom's showing you can play this map a couple of different ways.
The disrespect. That's really what I'm calling at Chepo here. I mean, homie's just been walking at players, holding forward. My favorite part was he walked under Barrage's super as he shot him out.
We don't see matches like this on that often on Bounty. I mean, this is something that you don't see that often. A rare treat coming here from Stepmom.
Rock him, baby.
But look how much Chepo's worth here at this point. His life is now quite valuable. He'll have to make sure he's being careful there on the Poco.
Oh, man. What is careful? It's not in this guy's lexicon. Get out of here. He just pushing forward. Push forward, Chepo! 1, 2, 3 out here playing a punk rock show, just hitting the same 3 chords over and over again.
So what was the next map again? what was after Bounty?
Well, this is dangerous. I mean, Jack dies, and now it's a 10-gem or a 10-star game.
I mean, you're certainly right. I mean, there's certainly room here still for turnaround potential. Maybe a little glib on this one, but I mean, with the way Stepmoms are playing, it's felt unrelenting from them so far. It's 24-16 Slash spinning in circles here now, baby. Knowing his life isn't even worth that much. It's Stepmoms that come on top 2-0.
You know, there's only one thing more BM than spinning on somebody, and it's sitting in their puddle of AoE damage.
It's spinning and damage, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, I'm dancing and taking damage. None of this matters. We win the game.
Man, and normally that's been saved for things like Heist, right? This sort of relentless, all-in aggression type style, but showing that it can absolutely work on Bounty. You have these two beefy damage dealers like Crying Man and Slash, and then they're sustained by Chepo and the Poco. I mean, that's tough to deal with.
How does he sit down? Look at Chepo just go for it. This is it. Boom, boom, boom. Just walking up. He actually dodges that and now walks underneath some of the super. I wasn't even the replay where he walks under the super, but he dodges the one shot of the Brock. Insane.
Yeah, just really, really impressive play here on this very first set. So we're already moving now into set number 2. It was already a breakneck pace in that semifinals, right? I mean, even though it was 5 games, it's hard to imagine 5 sets could go faster than that. And now we make our way on to Gym Grab. Double Swoosh will be the map that we'll be on for the entirety of this set.
All right, what are they bringing out this time around? Crying Man going to be on the spike. There it is. Okay, sweet. So we got some 2 utility, and there's the Shelly you were looking for from Slash.
Right. This map makes a little bit more sense. I mean, Barrage on this Rose is going to be trying to get in close, and it's exactly what you do not want to do up against this Shelly. But if Barrage can find other targets like Chepo, then he's feeling really good about it.
2-1 so far here. Totality kind of controlling, but Slash, see, this is the thing. If Slash turns the corner, kills whoever he targets. Nice shot there. Good heal coming out from Chepo.
His damage from Slash is strong so far, so mid-control slightly favoring Stepmoms right now.
Nice
Chepo
combo.
has found himself another gem to grab here as well, and suddenly it's Totality on the respawns. A nice heal from Chepo does bait in Barrage and finds them yet another pick. That's where the spin's coming from.
Oh, but only we can see the spins. That's lame city. I am not about that. That is playing to the fans. But you got to let your opponent know about it.
Well, I'm sure Chepo's got some fans, so why not, right? Play to them. Another kill comes out here from Keenan. Barrage finds one of his own in returns. It actually hurts quite a bit in terms of the gen counts. Team Totality's been able to find a couple of their own.
Yeah, Chepo's got to be careful about walking up front here. Grabs it, no problem. Crying Man on the left does have 2 in the bank. So there's like a soft 8. All right, there it is, 8 right now. 9 for Stepmoms. I mean, this team is just going out for it. Slash is here protecting the 2 players, and there it is, Chepo. Spin on screen. That's what we like to see. 10 starts the countdown.
Everything that Stepmom has picked feels as if they were expecting for like melee range focus to be coming out from Totality, and they gave themselves an answer. Chepo spinning even still now. Crying Man finds one of his own with Juarez, and with 5 seconds left, they have to move in, but they just cannot get it done. So far, it's been dominance from Stepmoms as they grab one more win.
I love it. I love it. This is how I want to see this.
Wow.
You're feeling the heat.
I'm feeling it the same way that Team Totality is. I mean, come on. They haven't had anything so far in 3 games in a row.
I'm feeling the way stepmoms are feeling it. It feels good.
Yeah? I mean, you're not the one about to win money. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all stepmoms.
I love watching this, though. I think, you know, it's the look at the audacity of Jack. He runs out of there, gets out with 100 HP, and just starts spinning on whatever he wants to do.
Calculated, by the way. He had his abacus out, I assume, on the desk.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It was 100% planned out.
I know exactly how much damage I can take here. I know I got the heal.
Know the matchup, like we say. Know the matchup.
Yeah, you got to do the
man.
claps in there between each one.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, we still have one more at the very least to go here. If Stepmoms keep up the pace they've been playing at, then we very well might find ourselves on the next set here before too long. But so far, man, Totality has not really had a strong answer at all in this last set. I mean, and I think that time they kind of ran into a draft they weren't expecting. The Spike and the Shelly both very good at dealing with the close-range Rosa. Some adjustments to be made here for sure.
Yeah, I think they're outclassed. It's tough.
That might be part of it.
It really is. I think Team Totality has done a lot of work to kind of make it up until this point. But, I mean, Stepmoms here, like we said, they've beat out some of the hardest competition to get to this point in the tournament. I think this might be, you know, it's hard to say your top team when you look at all of these teams coming in, but this is absolutely, you know, in the running.
Look at this composition now. It's Frank and Mortis paired with the Shelly. So the Shelly to dare you to come in close, and then the Frank and Mortis, who are better at getting in close even than you. Barrage does survive the initial pressure from Crying Man, but still the center control belongs entirely to Stepmoms.
There's the shots. Juarez and Barrage really need to make this move on the left. Crying Man's going to be on the Mortis one more time, and if he's, you know, in the back line, you can kind of be careful and get out of there. Nice job. Punish Chepo right here. That's the punish we want. Juarez takes the long way, but still is able to take care of the middle lane. But Stepmoms are up 6 gems. They did all that for 1 single gem, Team Totality.
And for mid control, if they can maintain it, the question is, can they maintain it?
Yeah.
And so far, it's looking like they can. Barrage finds nice damage on the Chepo, and now Crying Man might be a little bit further forward than he'd like. And now Slash in trouble too. Keenan finds him. This is what it was they were fighting for, if they can maintain.
The problem is because Mortis is behind enemy lines, if they get the kill, or even the stutter step. It's nice. Big heal from Barrage, like you mentioned. And Chepo goes down. This is control to Team Totality and a much different theme song.
It is starting to feel like maybe now Stepmoms have maybe stepped a little bit too far into maybe having a little bit of fun here. We've seen them doing some of the spinning and such, but this time it would appear Totality were a bit prepared. This round's not over entirely just yet, but Crying Man can't do enough damage to Barrage.
Not at all. Man, this was fantastic. This really was fantastic. Team Totality has separated the Mortis player from his team time and time again, Finch. I think that's the key to victory here.
But can they complete this countdown? Barrage being sat on by this Mortis.
Oh, Chepo is super. This is bad.
With a bunch of damage, but a big heal from Barrage. Chepo is gearing up for a bunch of damage, but this bow has been on point. Juarez not trying to miss right now. Barrage finds Slash, and that means we're going to 1-1.
The play was there. The play really was there. Chepo needed to walk up at the same time as Shelly and stun 2 players. He needed to get not just the main target that he nailed, but he also needed to get the Poco. The problem was, since Poco wasn't stunned, the heal came through, and everybody was able to kind of live to see another day. But if Chepo gets 2 players with that stun and Poco goes down, that's a lead change. That's probably game to Totality. But all lines on a big if.
And I like the strategy from Barrage is almost certainly going to end up being the primary gym carry for them. So Crying Man on this Mortis could dive him and get some damage in, but he never had enough. Barrage was always able to get the heals back off. They even split the gyms up so it wasn't so reliant on that Poco. I mean, that time, Stepmoms overstepped. I know I said it already during the game, but that's exactly how it felt.
Yeah, just time and time again. You know, the Mortis pick was also a little ambitious. I think it didn't really vibe with the rest of the squad. And like I said, once we were able to separate Crying Man from the rest of the team, it really was just over.
Yeah, that made it pretty difficult for Mortis to continually re-engage. I think they wanted him to actually be the gym carrier for them. But yet again, we're seeing an odd composition for them. Crow and Dynamite being picked up. I mean, Spike obviously makes some sense, but I mean, another bit of an odd comp.
Crow's mad. We'll see what happens. This is I don't know what Crow's doing here. But Dynamite is an interesting selection. I'm down here. Chepo has gone to the Crow before, so it's not an unheard of selection. He gets the kill right there, but I think this character is really weak right now, Finch. I think we're having some fun. But if Crow can get the win, I'll be excited. Like I said, it's kind of a pocket pick for Chepo too, so we'll see if it comes through in the clutch. I am not anticipating much.
Yet again, Crying Man is the gym carrier, this time on the Dynamite slash on the Spike, has 2 as well. Chepo goes in yet again on the Crow. He does end up falling, but does enough damage for Crying Man to find 1. He actually completes a second posthumously, and there's yet another gem on the ground, so Stepmom's back to the dominance we saw from that very first game.
Chepo hasn't really done anything, but Slash and Crying Man are running the game. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, Chepo's over here missing jumps and not really finding anything, but Crying Man has 8 total gems. Chepo gets his first kill of the contest, and we're 4 seconds away from the game.
Crying Man low, but at this point it's been locked up. Stepmoms may have lost 1 along the way, but they're now up 2-0 in sets total, and 1 more set away from just taking the finals at this point.
Oops. That's what it feels like. Just, oh, we won. There it is. What's for dinner? Like, this seems very matter of fact
right.
For the homies. And it's fun to watch. Like we said, we've seen these guys when we did the North American Open tournament a couple of months ago. Jack Chepo, Crying Man, these guys are a mainstay of the North American scene. So it's cool to see them kind of come back and see what they can take. Because like we said, I mean, these guys, they're all competing for that big finals in South Korea. So
right.
we want to see what type of talent we've got to kind of send over to the finals.
You're right. Even still now, Totality stand in their way, but how stalwart is this Totality team that stands in the way is the question. Is now we move on to Heist. And Heist is another game mode. If we recall the Primo composition and Bull composition we saw earlier on Bounty for some reason, then I imagine it will work even better here on Heist as we move into Pit Stop.
We're playing Pit Stop. I like this is the aesthetic. It's like that BB kind of like
right.
neon lights kind of like off-road aesthetic. I'm down. I like this kind of like flashy stuff. We don't get this map a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Pit Stop here as well, aesthetically. And in terms of what, brawlers it allows, I think we saw some Rico on here earlier because there's a ton of little tight corridors where you can kind of bounce around through here as well. I think there's some picks that can definitely work. I don't know if we'll see a Rico, but we saw him getting some nice bounces.
I just think it looks cool. I mean, I like how it's like little tires instead of little mushrooms. It's
right.
Like a cool
it's got kind of like
metropolis.
A 50s, 60s kind of vibe, maybe,
exactly.
right? Like,
that's when BB came out, so we got that kind of like, cool diner vibe.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's sort of the era that it feels reminiscent of, right? Part of the appeal that comes there for BB. But she could certainly fit in here if she does end up getting selected.
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
You mentioned Rico. BB kind of works in there with using the angles as well. But we're going to get another Frank. Let's see what Totality is. Let's see what Stepmoms are bringing here. Slash on the Tick. Chepo on the Barley. All right, so...
Barley and Dynamite, yeah.
Yeah, Chepo is in the building. Chepo's Barley. One of the scarier ones for sure.
Yes, this is certainly scary for Keenan here on this Frank. If he can get in close, good luck then, but can he make it in close up against all this range on the side of Stepmom? Slash and Crying Man have already made their way down to the safe, and these range characters do so well over the wall, and they've kept their safe perfectly defended.
That's exactly it. You just hit the nail on the head. Having 3 throwers is really key here because of that whole wall of tires or oil drums or whatever the hell they are. The cool things that I like. Just being able to toss it over that instead of even looking to, bull charge or magic hand through it. I mean, look at Chepo. Just destroy it. Why do I have to deal with any sort of door? Just toss things over the board. And like you said, they're all safe on touch.
Chepo even taking time to not shoot damage there onto the safe. Clearly having a good time here at this point as Stepmoms have started to run away here with this one. I mean, it's up to Juarez, but I don't think he can do anything in time. Stepmoms grab yet another game, and at this point now, they're 1 game away from being our winners here at the end of the finals.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think Stepmoms can pick whatever they want.
Yes, it feels that way, doesn't it? Yeah.
Feels
like they're playing real good Brawl Stars.
I want to see Leon. I want to see Shibanita. Like, this is what I want to see. Just bring me my favorite stuff. Give me a Poco, give me a Shibanita, and give me a Leon. And I'm good.
And obviously Totality is a strong team. They had a strong run to make it all the way up to this point, but it does starting to feel as if they've hit a bit of a wall here.
Yeah,
with
welcome
this
to the Thunderdome,
team.
boys.
Yeah, welcome to finals, right? Like this is it's not easy, man, to be the top team right now, but it's looking like Stepmoms could be it. It's certainly not over. It's not done until it's done, but I mean, Dynamite and Barley and Tick and making it work.
And yeah, I mean, Jack Chepo here on the barley, like I said, that's one of his go-tos on top of just being good for the map. So, oof.
Yeah, that certainly make things difficult here for these teams as we get prepped to go back in one more time. But the question becomes, if you are Totality, I mean, I don't think you care very much how much fun Stepmoms are having. You want to win this game, right? So now how do you try and make some adjustments up against a team when you don't know what they're going to play and they're playing it at such a high level? It's such a tall task.
That's the hard part, is that at the end of the day, you have to play this as if you're playing, against somebody easily beatable.
Right.
What I think you do is you play traditional because you're not at the same level. And you have to understand that. You play traditional Brawl Stars, you get a standard meta composition, and you just play standard. And then when you lose, you go home and you watch the tape and you figure out how and why. Right now, it's probably, too daunting of a task to completely usurp what has happened here. I think it's a little bit too much time, or a little too little time to grow this much. But at the end of the day, like I said, if you stick to your game and you continue to play seriously, then later on, when all the laughter has died over and you've kind of, gotten over like some of your issues, and you've kind of stood up a little bit, you can look at that tape one more time and go, all right, look, obviously they're having fun, but let's not be embarrassed. Let's look at this objectively and say, all right, maybe we gave them too much space on the right side. Maybe we weren't as aggressive as we should have been on heist. Maybe we didn't do this, and that's really what the approach I think you have to take here in the finals.
Yeah, I think it's about all that Team Totality can do. It's just already such a grind to make it here to the finals in the first place.
Exactly.
I know these guys would love to be able to find some kind of adjustments they can make here on the fly. I mean, maybe they just had to go all in on that sort of aggressive dive comp we saw earlier on, and then maybe it doesn't matter if Stepmoms are up to some shenanigans because you're just right on their safe, putting in damage, and they've got to respond to you. It's about all I can think is to try and put that onus back on them to respond to what you're running. We're ready to move, though, into this very next game. Here we go, Heist. And potentially Stepmoms could close this out right here, right now. Or Team Totality could drag this out further.
Did I get my Poco, my Mortis, and my Shiba Nita? I didn't get my Shiba Nita.
No, he picked Nita and then specifically did run a different...
But I got my Poco and my Mortis. Where's my Shiba Nita?
Well, this is...
I need the Shiba skin!
And this is what I asked for from Totality, though. They did pick this comp that's been working really well today, and then they just went right towards the safe and dared Stepmoms to get away with what they've been doing up until now. And it has gotten this safe down quite low, actually, so we'll see if they can keep it going.
I mean, got low. Yeah, that happened. Team Totality, though, they've got half HP on their own save. Red save just barely alive here for Stepmoms, but Keenan can't make it there a second time. Slash is looking for shots, but got hit. Nice bubblegum.
That is a very good super there from Barrage, and now he can try and move up and make his way towards that safe thing. Catch out Chepo here, too. That does open up some space. Looks like Keenan is still waiting on finding his timing here for the super. Barrage moves in, immediately blown away, so Keenan does move in, bring the safe down to 7%, but it's still not enough damage to close this out. Stepmoms still holding on.
That's absurd. This has to be the final push. They might have played with their food, Finch, but I think it's time to eat. Keenan, if he gets by, will just finish the game, so they do have to step back just a little bit. Oh, no.
Crying Man on the Mortis moves in on Juarez on the Cult and takes him down low HP. Chepo trying to keep up with the BB, knowing that if she makes it to the safe, that would end this one immediately. Barrage uses the knockback to move it back out, but Crying Man finds the kill. Keenan knows he needs only a few more percent, but he can't move in either. Colt gets in and at least brings us to one more game.
Interesting. Sure, that happened. We saw Jack try to play defense and didn't, and so that's more disrespectful than spinning. I mean, that's rough.
Did not play defense?
Yeah, dog. I got nothing to say. I actually don't like that too much. I'm sorry. That's actually a little whack.
Yeah, I mean, clearly at this point they're having a little bit of fun with it, right? And not putting 100% into maybe stopping them in every single opportunity. But this is coming from a team that's confident that even if they, maybe let a win pass by, they can turn around.
I mean, this is NA. I can make football references again. I'm down for you to celebrate after the touchdown, and I'm down for you to like big leg kick on the way to the touchdown. Don't give yourself a safety. That's. Win the game.
Yeah, go ahead and see if they can close it out. So we'll certainly see if they can. Stepmoms coming at it one more time. A similar composition with the Cult, with the BB, and with the Bull. They're picked up for Team Totality, and looks like Bull, Spike, and the Rico, as I mentioned earlier, there for Chepo this time.
All right, Chepo Tube. All right, he's got the Rico, so we know he can play well. Crying Man goes down on the Spike. When I first started, Crying Man Spike was really what opened my eyes to the character, so You know, they're kind of on their guys right now. I want to see a hard stop.
Well, we'll see if they can make this one work for them. So far, they do seem to have control. Slash
That's a good push.
Moves in first. That opens up the door. Crying Man follows up with some damage of his own. But Crying Man does end up getting caught out, but the Rico damage is nice from Chepo as well. And they start to move in onto the safe for a little bit more damage there of their own. Slash is the only one that's on the safe on the side of Stepmoms, but Barrage, largely uncontested, is swinging away up top.
Rico's getting the bounce shots, going ahead and grabbing a lot of it. Crying Man drops a super.
And they're down a little bit too low. 20 more HP, holding on for the safe. Crying Man finishes up with the spike. And just like that, Stepmoms are going to be your winners here at the Brawl Stars Open North America.
Wonderful play. That's the way we like to see it, man. You know, I'm down for a little bit of fun, but at the end of the day, bring out your powerful picks, bring it to the end, and just deliver it home. Wonderful play there. That's how it's done.
And they absolutely do clean that one up. The Rico, of course, makes a lot of sense here on this map. There's a ton of angles where they can find some strong bounces here as well, but you definitely would want to have cleaned up maybe those other two losses. They had a little bit of fun there in those, right? And I imagine at any point they could probably make those adjustments there. When they needed to, they did step up and play quite clean.
Team Totality on the other side, of course, these guys played hard all the way to get here. But, you know, when you got IX across the way, what are you supposed to do? So,
right.
Strong stuff there. Great performance out of a lot of the teams. Like I said, notable that some of our big names fell a little bit earlier. Well, there you go.
Yeah, take a look at the path the Stepmoms took to get here, largely going uncontested by anyone that stepped into their path up until now, so no surprise they continue that dominance. Again, a shout-out to Team Totality for how well they played up until here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they took out Nova Esports, most notably. That's a really big deal, you know, watching Nova Esports go down to Team Totality and then get 3-0'd by Stepmoms. I mean, that's crazy.
And then, again, these are the teams that have already qualified towards regional Stepmoms, and Team Totality have already made it to this point on the North American side here just by making it to the finals. Remember, we also brought in a couple of teams, I believe, from Europe as well earlier in the day. So This is that first step that we're in here in August and September, that open qualifier, the regionals that step in between, and everyone trying to make it to South Korea.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like we said, we've got this, and then a couple more weeks. We're going to bring in 3 more teams each week, and that'll all wind up in that bracket. And we're going to do those regionals. And of course, we're just here to help you out. If you want all that information, you go to skillshot.com/brawlstars for more info and kind of dial it home.
That's right. If you all want to try and hop in there yourselves, you certainly can, or if you just want to make sure that you're following along as best that you possibly can. I know that it's been a long day for those out there, but if you're Brawl Star fans like I am, then it hasn't felt too bad. Thank you for joining us here one more time. We're going to be bringing plenty more Brawl Stars action, so don't go too far, and we'll see you next time.